Mohini, access to services. Water's been an issue for Malamala community, and we understand the borehole development is taking place. Let's recap a little though. Life without water, life with poor roads, having to catch the bus, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, thank you, Sharon, and thank you to the family in Pacific giving this opportunity to raise our voices. Yes, I must say there should be always be proper road services in Malamala, so it will be not difficult to travel by the bus. And of course, it might be difficult to ask the certain times to raise more services, but it will be more better if they can just change the timing of the trips. And of course, the water problem, we are very thankful for the government is doing much better in our Malamala regarding to the water project. As the borehole has been finished, but we are still hoping some more things to be done because the main thing, the reservoir and all the tanks to be made, and the piping system is also the left. But we are still waiting for the reports. After the reports, then we can just do some more works.
So the boreholes are a temporary measure, but you'd like a bit more.
No, in fact, the borehole is be finished. Borehole is be finished. Yeah.
Yes. But it won't give you with the borehole. You can only get access so much water. So what you're saying is it would be good to upgrade the reservoir service and the piped water service.
Yes,
yes. For the Nadi Women's Council, your experience out in Malamala with the poor roads and irregular bus service, is this something that women across the Nadi Women's Council are facing, not just Malamala?
Because from there in Malamala, I am only representing Nadi Women's Council.
But what about the other parts, when the women who come to the Nadi Women's Council?
Yes, there is a problem because the ladies are coming from the rural areas. More ladies are coming from the rural areas. Yes, there is a problem.
So what does this mean if you don't have transportation? How can you participate in activities? How do the women organize then to get into a council meeting or training or workshops?
Well, it is very difficult to just reach on the certain time. Sometimes we are just, becoming late to just participate in the programs. So that time we just make an excuse for the transportation, and then somehow, but we'll have to manage to just, attend the programs like that in the Family in Pacific or Indian Women's Council or other activities.
Right. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mohini. Savanada, access to services, whether it's for the Oceania Pride Network members or for yourself here in Nadi, what are you seeing as priorities?
The health services at Nadi. The health services in many hospitals is not up to standard due to the lack of equipment, shortage of manpower and the facilities to cater for the growing numbers of people seeking medical assistance every day.
How far are people coming from?
Far as Tumbana Solo and Malamala with Mohini.
So people beyond the town boundaries are obviously looking for medical service in Nadi town. And that's why you're saying, what are you recommending? What are you calling for?
Decentralized health services to rural areas by building health centers and provide doctors and nurses so they can cater the community or the villages instead of traveling all the way to the main hospital, get cheaper.
Especially if they don't have good roads or regular transport, yeah? For those communities, like beyond Malamala, what time do people have to get organized to get to the main hospital then?
They wanted to be the first patient to get seen by our doctor, so they have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning in order to get the first number at the hospital. Yeah.
4 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, so by 6 or 7 they have to be in the hospital.
Okay, that's getting up very early. To get seen, at 8 o'clock or 8:30. Yeah. Okay, Tyra, you are representing the House of Chameleon. When it comes to access to services, what are you seeing as priorities?
Thank you, Sharon. As a young transgender, I do believe transportation, and according to Nandi, as I'm part of Nandi community, Martin Town community, looking at transportation, first of all, we have lots of new vehicles which moving around nowadays, and no proper shelters or parking areas for them. I believe that the town council, Nandi Town Council, have to build up a proper car parks for buses or cars in town, especially at the main bus stand in town. Since we have an few accidents a few weeks ago, yeah, I do believe we should have proper bus shelter or proper car parks for our vehicle.
Okay, thanks, Tyra. Okay, I'm going to put this question to the four of you. The national budget process. We don't have to wait till it's announced. There's a budget planning cycle that happens every quarter. So if we want to get in early, we need to start talking about what would we like to see reflected in the budget. So I'm going to ask you, Jyoti, in terms of access to services for persons with disabilities, where would you like to see the national budget be prioritized to attend to your needs?
I would like to see the budget. More budget should be allocated to the social welfare grant, and also to get trainings done here in Nadi for persons with disabilities.
So a special budget allocation for disability training.
Yes, and if they could have a special bus for persons with disabilities.
Explain to me, what do you mean by a special bus?
Like they can carry wheelchairs. Like even if a person is sitting on the wheelchair, the bus can just carry them from below and bring them up inside, and so that there will be enough space for at least 5-6 wheelchairs.
So you think this is a community service that should be provided?
Yes.
And who should provide it?
At the moment, we are talking to the National Provincial Council to help us with the transportation when we have meetings and things.
Yes.
And because we are still a bit new, so we still liaising in our meetings and forums how to get about it.
Okay, thank you, Moshmi. Mohini, what would you like to see in Jyoti, what would you like to see, Mohini, in the national budget in terms of rural development priorities?
Yes, this is a very good question for our rural community. Yes, we are hoping government should allocate more funds for the rural community. Say about for the supply of water system would be good, because it is our basic need. So if there will be a safe water for drinking, so our health will be also good. And also for the road should be proper, every time should be in proper conditions. And also the transportation, just I mentioned earlier, if they can manage to just provide some more bus services, it will be more good.
The community that you come from is a cane farming community. How is cane farming progressing? Is this something that you're going to see more people stay in that area because they're continuing to participate in cane farming? Because one of the things government will say is if there are no people there, there's no point in investing in improving the roads or water.
Yes, now the people are taking interest, because they are been giving funding for the replanting the sugarcane. So now they are taking interest, so do more cane farming in that area.
Okay, that's good to know. Sabanada, you've mentioned health as a priority for the national budget. Break it down a little bit more. You talked about health centres, decentralised health service. but you can have the building, but what else do you need to put in those health centers?
To be fully equipped and with medicines and all those stuff, and also the doctors and nurses. So in the next budget, I hope allocated a little more fund on health services.
Okay. Tyra, you said improvements in the sort of transport, building, infrastructure. What else do you want to see reflected in the national budget?
More proper buses for our brothers and disabled brothers and sisters. Since like nowadays, I can experience here in the West, in Nadi, there's more higher buses, there's no lower buses for disabled people.
Okay. Do the four of you feel that you're able to participate in the national budget process, that you get information in order to talk about these kinds of services that you need? Jyoti?
Personally, for myself, I don't really feel that I'm able to participate because the only time that I know that the budget is talking about the budget is at the end of the year, where I listen on the radio or TV, but we are not invited to talk about it. But at the higher level, the Fiji Disabled People's Federation in Suba, they do liaise with the government.
So what kind of assistance would the Nadi branch of the Fiji Disabled People's Federation like to receive so that you're able to document and communicate your budget needs to the people in the capital city?
Like they should also be like if the national level will come down and then we all get together and speak because in Nadi we don't have a center for persons with disability, so we are trying to do something to get them all together.
So help you organize and help you link up better to the capital city. Yes? Okay. Mohini, what would participating more in the national budget process look like to you and the women of the Nadi Women's Council? How would you like to be heard when the budgets are being finalized? What could be done?
Yes, there are so many concerns, but I don't know whether how many of them will be heard. But we need our contribution to be heard in that national budget because women are more needed to be, there is more needs with ladies to, there are many sacrifices with them. So there must be women's concern in that.
Explain the sacrifices. What do you mean when you say women are making sacrifices?
Say about in rural communities, ladies are sacrificing to, sending children to the school. They have to be in their budget and buying things like the food. Say about in rural communities where I am living, sometimes the drought affected a lot, so we can't plant more vegetables in our gardens, so we have to buy from the market. So we have to save money for, like daily needs, the parcel of the students. And there are little things also, even the government is providing bus fares, also it's a good thing. But as a home manager, at last mothers have to survive.
So you'd like to be visible, you'd like to be included, and would workshops help? I mean, do you want to be called to meetings, or do you want people to come out to you? Do you want the district advisory council coming and knocking on your door and asking what's important?
Yes, it will be good if the people come around in our rural areas, because every time rural areas are left behind. Because if the people come, they can just easily know what is really needed there in the rural communities. So we really appreciate if the people will come around in our village. Yeah.
Okay. Savanatha, listening to what Mohini is saying, as younger people, I mean, you and Tyra, are people asking you for an opinion? Where do you feel you're being heard? How would you like to be heard on national issues like the budget?
For example, people workshop like this, we get to review our grievances, our opinion about the national budget. That's the only kind of thing we can be heard from the public.
And aside from health, what would you like to talk about then? What else would you like to see being addressed? Is the cost of living too high? Tyra, you...
Living are very high at the moment, and youth employment is very hard to compare the cost of living with unemployment.
Tyra?
Well, me as a young transgender, I believe it's just our voice to be heard. As a transgender myself, most of the time we always be neglected, and our voice are not heard within the community or within the area we live in. People always look down on us, and yeah, I think.
And how do we overcome this? I mean, we were talking about this in our Celebrating Idaho segment today on Radio with Pictures, that, you know, it's about being included. What would that mean for you, Tyra? You're much younger than, you know, someone like Sarah Lee. How would you like, what does being included mean for you?
Like to myself personally, has the transgender people criticize us, look down on us most of the time, and yeah, we all know we are really human as well. Our voice also need to be heard, and mostly when we go around, people call names on us, give names, which all of us are humans. We have feelings, we have different feelings, which sometimes really hurts. Like to me personally, I always ask myself, always sit down and ask myself, God, why I'm having this feeling? I didn't choose this feeling to be with me. And if I think you brought me into this world to prepare for my life in the next life. And I always ask God why I'm having this feeling, which is not a complete feeling at all. And sometimes when I want to have this, I can't because I'm dressing up like this. Or when I want to go to join this, I can't. They look down on me because the way I look, maybe. Yeah, thank you.
So what is your message to people that treat you with this kind of, it's discrimination, it's a prejudice because of your identity? What is your message then?
To the people here today, just if we can stand together, we need our voice as well to be heard. And if we put our hands together, we might make a brighter Fiji, a future to live in. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Tyra from the House of Chameleon. Jyoti, you're listening to Tyra. Do you often feel also left out, not included, because you're a disabled woman?
Yes. I remember when I was a little girl, where my parents had to migrate, and because of my disability, I wasn't able to give. So that's one discrimination I faced. And also in the community, like sometimes when we go to workshops or meetings, like sometimes people, they don't like to accept the answers we give because they think, oh, this person is like this, she cannot do this then. So
Explain that. What do you mean? That
like sometimes if I want to stand with the group to hold the paper because I'm not able to read what's written as a group. So a person there in my group would say, oh, she cannot hold the paper because she can't see. But that's not the way we are also human beings. We do things which other people can do.
And do you feel like Tyra, when you're not being included, then this whole discussion about access to services, you're not being heard. You're not able to say, well, this is what I need.
Yes, I agree with you because, like, sometimes I also ask myself, why am I like this? Because some places we are accepted, but sometimes we are not. So I would like to urge people, firstly, not to look at us as persons with disability, but see us as a human being.
Thank you so much. Mohini, with the Nadi Women's Council, you know, you've got a very diverse group of women, but over the last few days we've been talking about inclusion, that we all have multiple identities, even as women. How can we be more inclusive, you know, even amongst women's groups? What's that one message you're going to take back to the Nadi Women's Council?
Yes, my message is that we just work together, don't discriminate anyone. Like we should share everything openly. If we come together, we just talk together and share everything together, and also take good things from that one. Yes,
Okay, so don't just be negative.
Negative, yeah.
Get to know the person and find the positive and to be able to relate to each other. Savanatha, for Oceania Pride, is there discrimination out there for your members? Of your members, are they, yeah, yes.
Among other members, but from outside
And how are you helping the members, or how are you addressing this kind of discrimination?
educating them that we all human and we all the same.
Okay, thank you so much to Jyoti Neelan, Mohini Lata, Savanatha, and Tyra White. I just want to give Tyra and Mohini the last words in this segment when we talk about access to services. Multiple identities, diverse viewpoints, but our development priorities, the services that we need are the same. What kind of leadership do we need, Tyra, to have that kind of change that you're looking for? What's the qualities of leadership you're looking out for?
Good way, and where we can together in peace and harmony.
Okay, thanks, Tyra. Jyoti, what kind of leadership are you looking out for?
I would like to see a leader which has good quality, who can come down to us and listen to our views and think like all one.
And look beyond the disabilities?
Of course, yes.
Okay, thank you so much to all of you.